Hey guys, I am back with another video, and today I am going to be reviewing Revlon Colorstay's Skin Awaken 5-in-1 Concealer. If you are thinking about purchasing this product, watch to find out what you need to know before you buy. I purchased this at Ulta, and the cost ranges from about $10 to $13 depending on where you buy it. This comes in 19 different shades, and I purchased the shade Vanilla. It comes with 0.27 floral ounces, and just comparing to one of the concealers that I normally use, the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, that's 0.203 floral ounces, so this one has just a little bit more product. It is supposed to last 24 hours, and they have that right on the product here. It is a 5-in-1 concealer that is supposed to erase, perfect, brighten, refresh, and hydrate. It is transfer resistant, it has buildable natural coverage. It has a mess-free antibacterial tip. They said it was full coverage but didn't look cakey. It brightens under the eyes, and this sponge type applicator tip made it really easy to apply. Some said it was patchy, hard to blend, it creased, and it made the under eyes dry. I do like concealers with this sponge tip. I used to use Maybelline's Age Rewind like a long time ago. I haven't purchased it in a long time. This is just a much smaller sponge. Maybe it'll help to be much more precise when applying the concealer. I'm using the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream as my foundation. I'm just squeezing, the concealer is coming out there. I'm just going to put a little dot there on my hand, and there it is right there, that line. That is the concealer. I'm going to put this concealer where I normally apply. That is under my eyes, down my nose, a little bit here on my forehead, on the sides of my nose, and then above my lip a little bit. So let's get started. I'll be using a sponge to blend this out.
Take me somewhere far away from here, from here. Take me somewhere far away from here, from here.
I am going to just lightly set underneath my eyes.
Take me somewhere far away from here.
I am going to put the rest of my makeup on, and then I will be back and give you guys my initial thoughts on this product. It worked. I think the color Vanilla was a really good shade for my skin. I like that it had a pink undertone because it not only matched my skin, but it also helped to brighten underneath my eyes. I really love the applicator. I think it makes it really easy to use, and the fact that the sponge is much smaller, I think you can get more precision. I really loved using it on my nose. I was able to get a nice straight line down there. As I was putting on the rest of my makeup, and not even like 5 minutes later, I feel like coverage was less than when I initially applied it. I can just see it much darker now. And I also do notice it looks a little bit more dry. This side is not covering like the inner corner as much, and I don't know if that's because I was having a really hard time blending, especially this side. I don't know if a lot of the concealer like went away because I was blending it so much, but I can tell that there's like less coverage here in the corners of my eyes. Right after I'm done here, I am going to go outside and I'm going to show you in a natural light how this concealer looks, and then I'm going to do a 4-hour check-in and an 8-hour check-in just so we can see how the concealer is progressing throughout the day, how it does with my oily skin, and all of that. So let's get outside and I will show you what the concealer looks like in a natural light. You can see it a lot more clearly that the corners of my eye where I was heavily blending, that the dark circles are peeking through much more, and it's also starting to crease. My eyeliner smudged in the corners, but you can see that overall the coverage is a lot less, and my dark circles are now showing up a lot more. After the 4-hour review, I realized that in order to give this concealer a fair review, I really needed to test it out without any foundation as well. And that's because it's a light coverage concealer, and when I got to the 4-hour mark, I noticed that the dark circles were starting to peek through more, and I couldn't tell if there was still concealer over it or if that was just my foundation. Wearing this alone without foundation is really going to test for me how long it is going to last. I don't normally use just concealer only without liquid foundation because my skin is very textured, it's very red, has acne, has scars. And to me, when I wear a full coverage concealer under my eyes without any liquid foundation, it looks funny. Looks like I just have coverage under my eyes and then my skin is just a totally different color. But because this is a lighter coverage foundation, what I am going to do is use the concealer under my eyes and in the same spots that I did before. And then I'm just going to put a powder foundation with a brush so that it's still light and still can see just the concealer. So let's get started.
From here, take me somewhere far away from here. From here, I need you to listen, listen. I want you, I miss you.
I am going to add some more concealer. It kind of disappears when I'm blending it out with a beauty sponge, especially here in this area.
I miss you, I still miss you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You got me in my feelings, can't fight the way I feel. You got me in my feelings.
Now I'm going to use some powder just on the cheek area to minimize some of the redness on my face.
Don't wanna make it real. You got me in my feelings, can't fight the way.
This time I put 2 layers, especially here in the corners. When I'm blending it out with the sponge, it's not just hard to blend out, but it also, when it does end up blending out, it disappears. Because it is light coverage, it actually looks okay with me just wearing the concealer without liquid foundation, which is nice. It's given me some brightening under my eyes. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of that Coty Airspun underneath the eyes to just set it a bit, so not too much. Now we will be able to see at the 4-hour mark how the concealer lasted because that is the only thing underneath my eyes. So I will see you guys at the end of my night.
You got me in my feelings, don't wanna make it real. You got something.
Let me give you my final thoughts. The price of $10 to $13 is pretty standard for drugstore products nowadays. There are 19 shades, which I think is great. Looking at the pictures, it does seem like there is a good variety of shades for different skin tones. Application was very easy. I love the sponge. I think having a smaller sponge was really nice. You were able to be very precise with it. It was really hard to blend out, and because I had to blend it out so much, a lot of the concealer I think disappeared. So that's why I had to keep applying more product in certain spots. With applying more product, it didn't really get cakey. It looked pretty natural. Even with setting it with some powder, it still looked okay. It wasn't too drying. I am noticing now after the 6 hours, you can see it kind of separating out of the crease. So there's not really any concealer in my crease area underneath my eyes. But other than that, it looks very nice. It does have a brightening effect, which I really liked. Now for their claim of being able to wear this up to 24 hours. First time I wore it for 4 hours, and this time I wore it for 6 hours. Based on these results, I don't think that it's going to last up to 24 hours, but who knows? I don't know. I haven't, I'm not wearing this for 24 hours, but at the 4-hour mark with foundation, it seemed to disappear a lot faster. There's some things that could be with that. I didn't put as much concealer as I did when it was alone. Wearing this alone, it definitely is staying more. You can still see the brightening effect. I mean, you can definitely just tell that it's still underneath my eyes. I think this concealer is okay. It definitely just had its pros and cons. It's just kind of in the middle for me. It was hard to blend out and it didn't really work with my foundation. But the good things were that it brightened up my under eye. I really loved the shade that I chose. It was a really good match for my skin. And I am able to wear this concealer alone with just powder on the rest of my face. And I usually can't do that because I use such high coverage concealers. I think this is just a very natural light coverage concealer that gives you some brightening. So You know, if you're looking for that type of concealer, if you're not looking for so much of the coverage, if you're looking for something on the natural, lighter side, then this may be a good match for you. Thank you so much for watching my review on Revlon Colorstay's Skin Awaken 5-in-1 Concealer. If you want to follow me on all of my other social media accounts, I am at Jenn Reviews on Facebook and on Instagram. If you are looking for a certain product that I've reviewed, I do separate my playlist by brand, so all you have to do is click on that brand and you can see all of the products that I've reviewed from them. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Do you think about